Embracing who you are. Once upon a time, in the cheerful village of the Meadowbrook, there lived two best friends named Luellah and Asher. Luella was known for her long, black, silky hair that swayed with every step, and with her infectious laughter that could brighten even the rainiest days. Asher, on the other hand, was a bravery and adventurous spirit. Luella and Asher spent their days exploring the meadows, climbing trees, and dreaming up exciting adventures. They were sharing secrets and laughter under the shade of the ancient oak tree by the river. One sunny afternoon, as they sat near the riverbank, skipping stones and enjoying the warmth of the sun, Luella suddenly sighed deeply. Asher looked at her with concern. "What's on your mind, Luella?" he asked, noticing her thoughtful expressions. Luella hesitated for a moment, then confessed with a hint of frustration. "Asher, I feel like I'm always so clumsy. You're so graceful and brave, and I keep tripping over my own feet. I wish I could be more like you." Asher chuckled softly and shook his head. "But Luella," he replied warmly, "I admire you for who you are. Your laughter brings joy to everyone around you, and your kindness is what makes you special. You don't need to be like me or anyone else. Just be yourself." Luella smiled weakly, appreciating Asher's words but still feeling a pang of insecurities about her clumsiness. She wanted to show Asher that she could be brave and graceful too. The next day, an exciting announcement spread through Meadowbrook. A grand festival was coming to town. There would be games, performances, and even a talent show. Luella and Asher eagerly made plans to attend. As they explored the bustling festival's grounds on the day of the event, Luella watched with wide eyes as performers dazzled and crowd with their talents. She couldn't help but notice how graceful the dancers were and how confidently the acrobats soared through the air. When they came across a balance beam challenge, a narrow wooden beam raised above the ground, Luella's determination took over. "Watch this, Asher," she exclaimed, stepping onto the beam with confidence. Asher watched with a mixture of concern and encouragement as Luella carefully placed one foot in front of the other, wobbling slightly but managing to make it halfway across. The crowd nearby cheered her on, censoring her effort. But just as Luella reached the middle of the beam, she stumbled and almost fell. She let out a squeak of surprise. As she struggled to retain her balance, Asher rushed forward, reaching out to steady her. "Luella, are you okay?" Asher asked her, his voice filled with concern as he helped her back onto solid ground. Luella nodded sheepishly, cheeks flushed with embarrassment. "I'm sorry, Asher. I wanted to show you that I could be graceful like the dancers." Asher smiled gently and shook his head. "Luella, you don't need to prove anything to me or anyone else. I love you just the way you are, clumsiness and all. Besides, you brought smiles to everyone watching, even when you stumbled." Luella sighed softly, feeling a wave of relief wash over her. She realized that Asher was right. Her clumsiness didn't define her. Being true to herself meant embracing her own unique qualities, just as Asher did with his bravery and adventurous spirit. However, Later that evening, as they walked through the festival grounds, Luella overheard some villagers whispering about her clumsiness. The words stung, and she felt a twine of hurt and frustration. Without thinking, she turned to Asher and said sharply, "Maybe if I were more like you, brave and graceful, people wouldn't laugh at me." Asher stopped in his tracks, surprised by Luella's sudden outburst. His brows frowned slightly, and he replied, "Luella, I understand you want to prove yourself, but trying to be someone you're not won't change how people see you. Your clumsiness is just a part of who you are, and that's okay. I've always admired your spirit and your laughter, not because you're like me, but because you are uniquely you." Luella's eyes filled with tears as she realized the impact of her words. She hadn't meant to hurt Asher or to imply that she didn't value his friendship. "I'm sorry, Asher," she whispered, feeling ashamed of her outburst. "I didn't mean to say that. I'm just hurt that people have said the things that they said, and I've taken it out on you." Asher sighed softly and reached out to gently squeeze Luella's hand. "It's okay, Luella. I know you're going through a tough time, but remember, I'm here for you no matter what. We're best friends, and that means supporting each other through everything." Luella nodded, feeling a mixture of relief and gratitude. She realized that Asher was right. Being true to herself meant accepting her strengths and her flaws, and knowing that Asher loved her for who she was. From that day on, Luella continued to laugh and share her joyful spirit with Asher and the villagers of Meadowbrook, and whatever she felt a twine of doubt about her clumsiness, she remembered Asher's words and knew that being true to herself was the greatest gift she could give. The moral of the story is, true friendship means accepting each other for who they are, flaws and all. Try to be someone you're not only going to lead to misunderstanding and unhappiness. Being ourselves and embracing our uniqueness is the key to genuine connections and happiness.